Hello, this is Kerry Martell of RVLivingGuide.com. I'll be your guide to adventure. Today we're going to talk a little bit about cooking. I made a video previously about how to make very delicious ramen, how to cook it the right way, very cheaply and easily. This is going to be a video about how to make very delicious, what I call trucker pasta, trucker spaghetti basically. And it uses some items that you can commonly find at any gas station anywhere in the country. These things are very common. And if not, you can definitely find them at any sort of supermarket. A lot of truckers like to stop at Walmart's. You can find all this stuff at Walmart, anywhere in the country. Very simple and easy to do. These are the ingredients. We're going to have a can of sardines and oil, some pasta. Doesn't really matter what pasta you have. In this case, I'm going to use spaghetti. 1 can of tomato sauce. Vienna sausages, 1 little can of Vienna sausages. And a can of sliced black olives. We're also going to need a pot with a lid and some water. And we're going to need a little saucepan as well. Now you also need some sort of heating element. You can use a little electric skillet. You can use a little hot plate, electrical, that you can plug into a car cigarette lighter. Or you could also just use a propane burner. In my case, I'm going to be using my stovetop. See, I made a little bit of a mess here yesterday making some mashed potatoes. I'll show you that recipe in a later video. So I'm going to light my burner here. And I'm just going to boil the water right now. I'm going to boil up the water. That's why you need to have a lid. It makes boiling the water a lot faster. It's not impossible to boil water without a lid, but it's definitely a lot more efficient usage of your fuel to do it that way, and it takes a lot less time. Now, while the water is boiling, I'm going to prepare my sausages, my little Vienna sausages. And I like these little cans you can open up with a little tab. You open it up and just pull it off. So you take your Vienna sausages while the water is cooking, and you're just going to drain out the water. And then you're going to dump them out so you can slice them up. Of course, the easiest way to slice them up is to slice them while it's all sort of compressed here. It makes the job a lot easier. You see that they slice super easy. They're very soft. Now once you've got your sausages cut up, we're just going to add them to the saucepan. Now we're going to take our can of sardines in oil. I like having it in oil because then I don't need to actually have any cooking oil. I'll just be using the oil that already comes with the sardines. When the cans open up like this, you can see that they're in here just sort of sitting. We're going to cut these up as well. But first we're going to dump the oil into the pan a little bit. This little fishy oil in there to make it easier for us to cook the sausages. Because fish can get messy, it's best to sort of grind it up a little bit, cut it up, dice it up. Just whatever it is to make it smaller while it's still inside of the can. Otherwise you're going to make a mess everywhere, especially if you're in a cab. You don't have a lot of space. Best to just do it inside of the can itself. Okay, now that I've ground it up a little bit, I'm just going to add it to the saucepan. Stick it in here with the sausages. Okay, now I've got the little sausages and the sardines in the saucepan. We're going to heat them up a little bit. You can also substitute the Vienna sausages with just regular hot dogs, but I find that it's cheaper just to buy the sausages. We also store a lot longer as well. So we're going to heat up the sausages, just let it cook just a little bit. They are already pre-cooked, so you don't have to do it for sanitary reasons. This is more about taste. So now you can hear that they're grilling a little bit inside the saucepan. I'm going to use a wooden spoon to sort of mix it up a little bit. It's better to use a wooden spoon if you can, because it's less likely to scratch your pan and pot. Make it last a little bit longer, especially if you're using Teflon. And let's see that there. The oil is just helping cook it a little bit, give it a lot better taste. And you can see our water is now boiling. So I'm going to take some strands of spaghetti. I'm just going to set it there on the side. I'll probably add a little bit more spaghetti actually. Let's see over here. Grab some spaghetti out of the package. And that's probably enough. You don't need to use a lot of spaghetti unless you're feeding a lot of people, and it's really just me I'm making dinner for, so I don't need a lot. Just let those spaghetti sit there in the water And as it gets more hydrated, spaghetti will fall down into the pan, or the pot I should say. Now if you want to sort of speed up the cooking of the sausages and the fish, you just put the lid from the pot on there and it'll help make it just happen a little bit faster, but you do want to be mindful of it. Make sure that you don't burn the fish or the sausages while you're doing this. Now once you feel that you've browned your meat enough, go ahead and just turn that burner off for now and focus on the noodles. As you can see, the noodles are softening over here and getting the whole noodle in there. Some people like to cut the noodles, but I think that makes the size of the noodles just a bit, not spaghetti enough for me. Then you might as well be eating ramen. So just spend the time to wait for it to come down in here. And they're already pre-cooked. You're just rehydrating them is basically what you're doing with the spaghetti. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the meats. I'm going to put it over here into a little plastic bowl and just temporarily put it on the side. Now we're going to take that empty saucepan and we're going to dump a can of pre-cooked tomato sauce in here. Might as well just put the whole can in here because I'm going to have my first meal of the day, which is at night because I'm still dieting. This is quite a bit of calories. I'm going to put it in that little saucepan and then we're going to heat it up. And as you can see, the noodles are getting pretty good, and by the time that I finish the pasta sauce, my noodles should be ready to eat. Now the reason why we put the meat into a little bowl on the side and put the pasta sauce separate is because it takes a lot longer to cook a liquid if there's something already in it. That's why you bring the water to a boil before you put the noodles into it, and it's the reason why you take the meat out of the saucepan and then you heat up the pasta sauce. And as you can see, it's starting to bubble over here. That's a good sign. Get a little bit of a shift here. And one thing you want to make sure is that you don't scorch your saucepan by having the sauce not mix enough and being too high, which is why I put it down a little bit here. It's not quite as high up as it should be. Now you can see it's starting to boil over. That's a good sign. I'm going to put down the heat a bit. And I'm going to add my black sliced olives to the sauce now. Get them all out. And I'm also going to take the meat, and I'm going to add the meat now. And then we're going to mix it up. And our noodles should be close. Now it's been a few more minutes and I can see that the pasta is really settling in, really absorbing all that meat nutrients and the oils, adding a lot of taste to it. The noodles are being a little bit slower than I like, but still it's getting there. They're getting very soft and noodly for being very delicious noodles. And this sauce, even though it's out of a bottle, just some stuff I got out of a can, and you can see that it's really starting to get a good texture here going, and it's going to be very, very delicious. This is my trucker's pasta, trucker spaghetti meal recipe. Okay, so I think my spaghetti is done. I think my sauce is ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the heat and I'm going to drain the spaghetti. Now I put a strainer in my sink, but if you're in an actual truck, you're going to have to do this job outside. But still, it's best to use a strainer you can just dump your noodles into. It just makes it a lot easier for this process. So, and then you just put the noodles back in, and it's all strained, and it's ready for you to add the sauce to. So, turn off the heat, and stick the sauce in. Look at that. And now you've got your trucker's pasta. That is a cheap, easy way to make a pretty fancy treat for night with just some ingredients from a truck stop or any gas station, really. There we go. Trucker's pasta. Quick, easy recipe. Very good. It'll keep your belly warm, give you a good night rest after a long drive. And this is something, I call it trucker because it is something that, you can make as a trucker. But for full-time RV living, if you're doing a lot of traveling, if you're in an RV, if you're boondocking, especially if you're boondocking, this is also a similar kind of dinner that you can make as a boondocker because you don't have any refrigeration. You need to use, easy access ingredients. You want to live cheap. Anything you can find at any simple little gas station mini mart. This is a dinner you can have. If you like this video and you want to see more advice for full-time RV living, or even, how to make cool food cheaply and easily in your RV or your truck, like and subscribe to my channel and follow it.